asalaamu calaykum waraxmatullaahi wabarakaatu idilhantiinba ku soo dhowaada madasha furan oo toddobaadkan mar kale idinkaga imaanayso magaalada Brooks ee gobolka Alberta. Brooks waxay dhacdaa koonfur bari ee gobolka Alberta, Canada. Waxaa ila fadhiya Scott Brent oo ah superintendent ama madaxa iskuulada xarunta dhinacana waxaa la yiraahdaa Grassland ayaan u maleynayaa waa ka hubin doonaa. Scott Brent, welcome to Madasha from Somali Media.
Thank you very much for having me.
You're very welcome. I'm glad that I met you here in Brooks today. First of all, what is the name of this school board area and the zone?
Yeah, the name of our school division is Grasslands Public Schools. And so regionally we cover the city of Brooks, and then also all the communities within the county of Newell. And so that would be communities such as Bazano and Dutchess, Rosemary, Tilly. We have some very small communities called Rainier and Rolling Hills, Gem. So yeah, it's kind of the city is our hub. And then if you think of all the little towns kind of around Brooks, that's our school division.
And as I can imagine, it's included rural and towns too.
Correct. Yeah. So we have Brooks obviously is our biggest center.
Okay.
And then we have communities right down to just a few hundred.
And then how big? How many schools and how many students?
Yeah, great question. So we have 21 schools, and everything from about 600 to 700 students, right down to schools with about 22 students. And collectively, between all of our schools, we have about 3,600 students.
Most school divisions in Alberta and in the country, complaints are sort of similar. Mostly it's overfull classes, lack of assistance. What can you tell us the situation here in Grassland division?
Yeah, it's a little bit different depending on the school context we're talking about.
Yeah.
In a lot of our smaller rural schools outside of the city of Brooks, class size isn't an issue. It's actually the fact that we have declining enrollment. And so within some of those small rural schools, we're now doing like triple grading. So we might have a class of grade 1, 2, and 3 students. There might only be 12 or 13 students, but the teacher's actually teaching 3 grades.
Okay.
So it's not that there's lots of kids.
Yeah.
The challenge there is that sometimes we don't have enough students. Within the city of Brooks, our class sizes are actually pretty good. We obviously would like to have more space, and more funding is always nice, but we do pretty well with our class sizes. As our kids get older, and especially maybe in the high school grades, class sizes, depending on the subject, can get a little bit higher than what is probably our preference. But overall, we're in pretty good shape, depending whether you're speaking rurally or within the city of Brooks.
Within the town. Yeah. Well, that is very good news. But what are the challenges then if you don't have the problems that the big cities have?
Yeah, well, the biggest challenge in the cities is just they have such massive enrollment growth right now.
Yes.
There's such large numbers of people moving into the cities like Calgary and Edmonton and the surrounding areas that their biggest challenge is just the number of students coming in, and they don't have enough schools. For us, some of our challenges are obviously right now funding is a bit of a challenge for us. We've been running deficit budgets now for about 4 years. And so you can't continue to run deficit budgets forever. And so, we're trying to make some good decisions about how best to spend those dollars to benefit our kids.
Yeah. One may ask you, Scott Brent, that if the enrollment is going down, why would you need a budget increase? Why do you want to run in deficit?
That's a good question again. Yeah. One of the things we're experiencing, Jama, is the fact that the cost of actually doing the business, so the cost of our insurance, the cost of our running our utilities, keeping our schools operational, whether that's buying resources and materials, those costs are continuing to go up, as well as our labor costs. So, if we're looking at benefits for our staff, or if we're looking at salaries for our staff, those costs continue to go up, and funding has stayed fairly flat for us. So, we're not getting less funding, but when there isn't necessarily increases in funding, as costs go up and the funding stays the same, we're feeling those cost pressures.
daawadayaal waxaanu joognaa magaalada Brooks waxaa ii marti ah ama aan u marti ahay oo aan wareysanaynaa madaxa waxbarashada ee deegaankan Grassland School Division ayaa la yiraahdaa waana magaalada Brooks iyo tuulooyin hoos yimaado and small towns and rurals are often said they are welcoming the immigrants. But Brooks made a youth school division, not only Brooks, that about a year or a year and a half ago, I'm not sure the time, but you include Eid in your holidays. Is that true? And if it's yes, how that come?
Yeah. So timelines would be about 2 years ago. And really how it started is I had a group of students, new Canadian students from the Brooks Composite High School who asked to meet with me. And so there's about 3 or 4 of them. And they came and wanted to talk about how important it was for them not to be missing school when Eid was such an important holiday. And they were wondering, was there a way that we could come up with a solution within our calendar so that they didn't have to be absent, miss school, and in high school settings particularly, missing 1 day of school, you miss a lot of content.
Absolutely.
And for them, it was, both were important. Their Eid celebration was obviously a very important and significant day for them. And not missing school so that they were behind or feeling that, well, I have to make this choice. Do I go to school or do I celebrate with my family?
Yeah.